Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome back to another Nudelberg Daily Huddle. It's Thursday. It's a great day to be alive because it's another opportunity to get that little 1% better. Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome to the show.
Welcome. It's good to be back in the saddle for me. Tuesday was sort of, off the plane and then right to work. Yesterday was a full day of coaching calls and virtual coffees. And it's just good to be back in the routine. And then I'm breaking the routine again today. Midday on the way to the Jersey Shore. So just running and gunning. It's good
traveling to be again.
Moving and grooving, man. So taking advantage of summer. It's beautiful out. Airports are crazy busy. I don't know if you, when you traveled, man, it was nuts.
Yeah, we flew out of Lauderdale into Charlotte, and both airports were pretty packed. It was, and it was July 4th weekend, so it was
when Jake and I went to JFK at 6:15 in the morning on Tuesday, you would have thought they were giving away free something, man, because it was.
So speaking of that. Massive. You don't have clear, do you? You're TSA pre-check, but you don't have clear?
Well, clear wasn't at all of the airports this time, so I have TSA.
Still isn't, but if you get clear on top of TSA, they walk you straight past the line.
Correct.
Even if you're TSA pre-checked, if there's a line at TSA, they walk you to the front of that line. So you come in, you do they scan your eyes and they make sure that you are who you say you are. And then they walk you right to the front of the line. It was my first experience of it when we traveled that weekend. It was fantastic. I was like, oh, this is really like valet service, you know?
Well, unless you're in the TSA line and they walk somebody by and I'm going, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, exactly. That was me.
Like, what are you doing, man? Get behind me, man.
And then I tell somebody, well, you haven't seen
there's always somebody, there's always somebody one-upping you, doing something else, walking through the line. You're at Disney World, man, and someone comes buzzing by you. It's like, what?
Exactly correct. Well, let's get to the wake up music, and then we will get into the great national content for the day.
Wake up, everybody! Come on. Wake up, everybody. Teach a new way. Maybe then they'll listen what you have to say. Wake up, everybody. No more sleeping in bed. No more about to thinking. Time for thinking ahead. Come on now.
So good morning to everybody in the huddle. Special shout out to Justin Vandenbroek, who is a Cooper City alum, FSU alum, know him for a long time, is doing unbelievable things in the solar energy space. So shout out to Justin being a leader and being here this morning. And a special shout out to Pepe. Pepe and I had a virtual coffee yesterday. I met him through his wife, Dee, at FPL. He runs a furniture store down here in South Florida, high-end retail furniture. We had a great call yesterday, so I know he's going to be here at some point today. Wanted to give a shout-out to him.
So I like the shout-out part of the show. I'm going to shout out Kim Sweers because this morning in my inbox was a nice little, hey, your next coffee is on Kim Sweers, and she used the term, she said, I am the ultimate people broker. And I was like, that one could stick. I like that. It's like, yeah. So thank you for that. Good morning, Howie Craw. Great to see you in the gym. Howie's working out with Pete now. So great. Todd Hudson's back. So let's roll, baby. I know you got
great to have the whole. Yeah.
I do want to say, the content this week specific to social media and specific to your post and my post and what we're doing is so helpful. People are reaching back out to me going, wow, you guys really are laying down the track or the roadmap. And so kudos to everybody who reached out to me to say thank you. There's more coming today and tomorrow.
Exactly correct. But before we get to that, today's national day of celebration is National Give Something Away Day. So July 15th is a day that marks an opportunity for us to give something away. But an interesting stat about 2020, because I think most people would assume in their minds, everybody went into a pandemic, shrink down, get tighter, don't give, don't do. The opposite. All 9 major categories were on the rise in 2020 for giving. So in a year of unprecedented events, as we always have to say when we talk about the pandemic, charitable giving reached a record $471.44 billion in 2020. So on National Give Something Away Day, whether you're giving dollars or you're giving something, we're going to talk about some things you can give away. Unbelievable opportunity to give. And that's something that we talk about in social media, right? I mean, I think it's a perfect segue for what we've talked about this whole week. Is that's the whole point of your content, is you should be giving something away. And I love when you talk about when somebody told you, like, just start giving it away. You're like, what do you mean give it away?
Oh, that's I gotta tell you, I remember it directly. It's 8 years ago, and this LinkedIn thing was happening. And, I was on the way out. I was selling the company, and I was like, I got to figure out some of this stuff. So I actually spent time doing it. And to your point, the feedback I got was, yeah, just give away valuable, information. And I was like, what are you, out of your mind? 40 years to develop this stuff. I'm not giving it away. And what was fascinating was that I pushed myself to do it, being comfortable with the uncomfortable. Okay, let me give it to you. And when I did, people really connected and engaged with it, wanted more. And then, wouldn't you know, they were like, where can I buy that stuff? And I'm going,
or what can I do to help you?
I just gave it to you.
So for those of you who are hearing the bark in the back, we've got a special guest this morning. Louise Nudelberg is here with us. We're running a one-man band this morning, so we've got everybody a part of the huddle. We've got Kai here, we've got Louise here.
Great day. Watching you. I'm exhausted, man.
I love it. So, but speaking of giving away, and we talk about, you talked about it in your book, rule number 27, I believe. Is it the very last one? It's the very last rule in the book, which is give to get. And when we talk about that in a sales mentality, you talk about it in the book as most sales managers, most sales organizations only talk about go out, get people's business, go out, interrupt people to get their attention, go out and get from people. And you flip that on your head is go ahead and start giving. Go out and give all day, every day, and see what comes back to you in return on that. So I want to talk about, in your mind, what that means as a philosophy.
Great. So I'm really glad to have the opportunity to do that. So when I would go and sit down with a potential client, or a prospect, whatever you call them, I would basically be looking to learn their business. Now, if my business is out and connecting with lots of different people, the idea that if I listened and learned, there had to be somebody in my world that I could connect them to without any hesitation and without any expectation. So there I am, I'm sitting, talking to somebody, and I say, like, well, tell me about your business, who you're, give me your target audience, who you're trying to do. So whatever business you were in, if you were going after that, I probably knew somebody in that space. And I figured out the minute I made that connection, people would look at me differently. They would go, wow, you're just going to give me that opportunity right now without any, and so the idea that you could give first, and I challenge all the people listening to this who have vendors in their world.
Her toy.
Sorry. The last time, why don't you just go away?
Yeah, sorry.
You're so distracting, man. It's like I'm trying to talk to you, man.
Yeah. Well, you're talking to the crowd anyway. Yeah. So the idea basically is really simple.
if you look at your vendor network, people who you are paying, and I use the insurance thing, if I'm buying insurance from somebody, they should be able to offer me someone in their network that could potentially be a friend, a contact, or a contract. Seemed pretty easy to me. I didn't understand. So why wouldn't I give you my network? And ultimately people would say, you know what? It came down to you and a couple of other people, and I'm going to do business with you because you gave first.
Go ahead. So
I'm
you
done.
gave first.
Hey, well, why don't you do the show?
Well, what's hard about that first, I want to talk about, because young salespeople, that's tough to get through to. People who haven't built a network, that aren't there yet, that's a tough concept to get through to their minds. So when we talk about giving with some young salespeople, we talk about it all the time. Time and attention are the two most valuable assets that you have in your life.
Well, so here, let me point to this. I have always been a fan of sampling. In the business world, when you have a product, why would I buy your ice cream if I don't know what it tastes like?
Right.
Let me sample it. Well, your meatballs are great. Let me taste it. So if you take that mentality and move it into the services business, what challenge do you have? And let me see if I can crack it or give you some direction. Let me give you the keys to the result that you're looking for. And then all of a sudden they've sampled who you are, what you are. This format for us is a form of sampling.
Yep.
People said, listen, I've been watching you in the huddle. You guys are genuine. You're authentic. You give real information. That is a precursor to what it's like to actually work with us. So if you want more dedicated, so it's a sample. Most people were like, oh, no. I'm not doing shit until you pay me. Ridiculous. Show me some leg, play the game a little bit. And once you do that, you've already you're a step ahead of all the other competition because they are digesting you. They're going, that was real. That helped. I want more, which is the whole point of sampling. Big day yesterday with that macaroni and cheese ice cream.
Yeah,
they were sampling it everywhere. Who the hell would buy it without tasting it? Boom, you taste it. And once you taste it, you go, oh, that's really good. All the mini sizes, all the other stuff that's out there are just ways to bring you in to buy a product or service. And I'm all about that. So always
I love it.
I would say to people when a new phone would come up, what do you got, Shay?
Costco, the king of sampling.
King of sampling.
Yes.
You know what? People go there and walk the store to try and taste everything. And then, here's a new thing, so God, I love Lori Salarillo. She's the best, So.
Yeah. Well, but that's the part of coaching too, right? Is like people want to know, well, what are you going to do for me? I can't tell you what I'm going to do for you till I know what your problems are. I can't promise you that I'm a good fit to coach you, because what are your problems? Where are your organizational issues? Where are your leadership issues? Where are your sales problems? What's happening with you that is the problem? Let me help you solve that before we get engaged. And if you find value in that, then maybe there's a reason for us to work together. And that all goes back to being able to ask questions and being able to find a problem for someone.
Yeah, totally true. I mean, dialing in on whether we're a fit, is part of how we do what we do. So, the reality is, this whole idea, there's so much that you can give. I've been in business 40 years. There's perspective. There's a sort of direction that I can give people. And that might be the only thing I do. That might be the only thing I do in terms of the relationship. They may never hire us or proceed with any kind of engagement. But when you give to the universe, and everybody knows I'm a big laws of attraction fan. When you give, this is a law of the universe. The more you give, the more you get. And it's not directional. It's if I give to you, that doesn't mean I get it back from you. The universe will figure out where I get it from. So it's really more of a psychology, a mentality of how when you put good shit out, you get good shit back.
And D validates it, right? D and I had a conversation about what I can coach and what I couldn't coach. She came to me saying, hey, I'm looking And I said, well, let's talk about where you're looking to develop. What are you looking to do? D's looking to help me all the time still. We're not working together right now. Will we at some point? Maybe, but it doesn't matter. We're still, because I wasn't trying to one size fits all. I was willing to say, no, that's not a right fit for me. All of the rules that you've talked about and coached me on and that we continue to develop sales organizations with, I think all flow into that. How are you giving and being, being upfront, being authentic, having vulnerability and saying that I'm not able to do that, I am able to do that, all kind of feed into the same thing. It's a great conversation. Great stuff. So I think it's a great way to segue into the next part of the show. We've got some great motivational music because it's National Giveaway Day. So go ahead and take us to the morning motivational music, Shay.
Me not working hard. Yeah, right, picture that with a Kodak. Or better yet, go to Times Square, take a picture of me with a Kodak. Took my life from negative to positive, I just want y'all to know that. And tonight, let's enjoy life. Pitbull, Naya, Neo, that's right.
I want all of you tonight. Give me everything tonight. For all we know, we might not get tomorrow. Let's do it tonight. Let's do it tonight. Grab somebody sexy, tell them, hey, give me everything tonight. Give me everything tonight. Give me everything tonight. Give me everything.
So you can't go wrong with Pitbull ever. Give me everything. And something I would ask of my players every day, all right, is just give me everything you got right here for this 2 hours, for whatever it is, in this meeting, in this practice session, whatever it is, give me everything you got. And I think that's a challenge for ourselves, is empty the tank every day. Go ahead and do that every single day.
So Paul Rustin says, was I in that video? So it's a interesting story. I did have the opportunity to meet Pitbull. He was involved in one of the things I invested in. And when I got a chance to meet him, I called both of the boys and I said, tomorrow I'm having lunch with the Pitbull. They cracked up and I go, Dad, it's not the Pitbull. And then when I met him, he was the coolest guy, but we actually sort of resembled each other. And it was really kind of cool because he was like, hey, dude, man, I like your look. And I go, yeah, you bet. You look
on a previous huddle, we've actually talked about how Pitbull overcame a disastrous start to his career. So correct. Luther Campbell is the guy who found Pitbull, found him out of Miami, gave him his start, and in his first performance in Charlotte, opening up for a number of acts, he was hanging out with Luke and partaking in the festivities and got obliterated, got on stage, went to reach into the cooler to grab a water before he started and fell into the cooler during his performance, and the performance was over. And he talks about how he had to overcome that embarrassment, overcome that feeling of failure to go on to have the career he had. He could have packed it up and said, that's it for me. I can't handle this. I can't do it. And let all of that, adversity weigh him down. But he didn't. He said, screw it. I'm going to get back. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to learn from what I did. And obviously he went on to have a ridiculous career.
Indeed.
So as promised, we're going to continue with the content conversation and how to build a roadmap for how to build your content. And one of those is answering questions in what you do. And we've got a great list of questions, but I think that's what I did in the Facebook post that went viral, right? I put the comment in there that I got. I said, this is not Facebook. But then I asked everybody the questions. I said, are you uncomfortable with me sharing my wife's birthday? Are you uncomfortable with people sharing the things that personally make them happy? Are you only here for business purposes? I asked 3 very specific questions and got an unbelievable amount of responses. I'm still getting responses. This morning, I got 2 more people who commented on it with what their thoughts were. So I think what questions you ask and how you ask them is so important. And we can go
or even more specific, like Christy Ruiz posted something yesterday that was tremendous
about her son.
She was, she has a routine in the morning. Her son threw a tantrum. We were talking about it in a coaching call, and she said, man, it threw me out of my routine. But what I've learned from dealing with people all the time is I can't let them throw me off my game. She puts it together with a picture. Boom, she puts it out there. And the amount of engagement was amazing because people were like, wow, I'm so glad you posted this because I deal with this every morning. My wife did, relatable. Human beings are dealing with that kind of stuff. So when you say social content, it's really, and I said to her, could you imagine if there was a reporter following you around and they would go, well, we're here at the Ruiz house and the kids are throwing a shit fit, That's the real deal, So, the idea that other people can relate to that is why you get the engagement. And so all of the questions that you've put together, all of the idea is just tell stories, just be, tell stories about who you are, what you are. And what she did was related to a business concept. Hey, this is happening in my life, but here's a value takeaway for you.
Well, I think that's the key, is that when you're asking questions or answering questions, right, as a thought leader or to develop thought leadership, answering questions for people about how you run your organization, how you develop people, how you identify talent, what systems and processes. And if you look at Andrew Koenig, he's doing this pretty consistently with showing people how they use the lean mentality, how they develop the CFOS, which is the City Furniture Operating System, that he expects all of his leaders to eat, sleep, and breathe, and why they do those things. So, whether you're a leader of an organization that has the ability to answer those questions and share those questions for people, you can also just ask the question about what's happening in your life. How do you handle this situation? How would you handle having your dog and your son as your responsibility while you have to do the morning show live with everybody? What would you do? Would you put them in a room? Would you put them in a pen? Would you put your son in charge of the dog? What would you do? And asking real life questions like that, which is why Christy got so much engagement about it, is that it's human and everybody wants to be human. Yet for some reason, we're still living in this world where we feel like business is this sterile, non-human environment.
It's the conversation I had with Christy. I said, in the stores, if it's someone's birthday, do you guys get a cake or do you celebrate it and call it out? She goes, oh, absolutely. She says, but there's so many people in one store. We might just pick one day and celebrate all the July birthdays. I said, but it's protocol to call it out and share a personal moment with the people you do business with. Hello. You want to know what social is? Share a personal moment with the people you do business with. It's just taking
consistently. And then that's the key to everything, is that it's the consistency in the way you do it. It's building it into your process, into your routine, where you get in the habit of sharing and giving it away. On National Give It Away Day, what are you going to give away on your social?
So Mark, I got to tell you, every day when we have virtual coffees, people say, wow, I can't believe how real you guys are, how genuine and authentic, well, this is an opportunity for me to show you that, what a miss it would be if we were something in this format and then they got to meet us and they would go, ooh, that doesn't feel good. So how many of you go through that experience all the time? And Mark, when you were first doing this, there was a CEO who you saw on social media. And when you met him for the first time, you went like, total miss. Who is that person?
Completely different than the person he portrayed to be.
This is your opportunity to show up, be real, let people know that you're vulnerable. You fall down, you smile, you cry, you laugh, you fart. Let's go.
It is that simple to build yourself a content strategy on what to share. So thank you. Thank you for another great morning. I have definitely got to run now. So it is time to get down to business. Have a fantastic Thursday.
Indeed.
Please don't worry about me. I'm about to let my heart speak. My friends keep telling me to leave this. So let's get down to business. Let's get down to business. Give you one more night to get this. We've had a million